All right, eighth graders, in Unit 5, we were talking about exponent rules and then also scientific notation. For Unit 5, Part 1, we were talking about the product of power rules and the quotient of powers rules, which are kind of our two basic exponent rules. If you look right here, it's really hard to read on the video, but on your notes it should be easy to read. That's just straight out of your book. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. I'll go through examples for you. The gist of the product of powers rule. So the gist of the product of powers rule is that when you multiply things that have the same base, you add their exponents. But the big thing is they have to have the same base in order for you to put them together. So let's look at some examples. It says find the product, write your answer using exponents. So for number 1, we have 5 to the 10th and 5 to the 11th. So the first thing you need to notice is that these have the same base. They both have a base of 5. So that means I can go ahead and add the exponents. So I'm going to get 5 to the 10 plus 11. So 5 to the 21st power. For number 2, I have 8 to the 12th times 8 to the 14th times 8 to the 3rd. So all of these have the same base of 8. So I can add all those exponents together. So 12 plus 14 plus 3. That will give me 8 to the 29th. So I'll let you guys go ahead and do the last one there. I just realized that 3 disappeared. So I'll let you guys see number 3 there. Coming down to the next section, so we were 1, 2, and 3 here were the product of powers property. Here we're also doing the product of powers property, but now we have variables involved. So first thing, number 1, we have x squared times x to the 6th. They have the same base, the x, so I can go ahead and add the exponents. So 2 plus 6 will give me x to the 8th power. Looking at number 2, I have 3h to the 5th times 4h to the 6th. The important thing you need to realize is that the base for both of these is the h, not the coefficient. Just the h is the base. So what that means is I'm going to multiply 3 times 4 on its own. Then I'm going to multiply that by h to the 5 plus 6. So the 3 and the 4 get multiplied together and give me 12. And then for h, I add the exponents, so I get the 11th power there. So that's going to be my final answer. All right, I'll let you guys try number 3. Make sure you grade it on the answer sheet. Looking at the bottom of this page, we did the product of powers property, which again is multiplication. Now we're doing the quotient of powers property. Again, terrible. Again, this is really hard to read on the video, but on your notes it should be a lot easier. But this, again, is just pulled straight out of your book. So when we did the product of powers property, when we multiplied, we added the exponents. So when we're dividing, that means we're going to subtract the exponents. Again, they have to have a common base though. So for number 1 on here, again, I apologize, it's hard to read. That's 7 to the 20th over 7 to the 14th, which means I am dividing. I'm doing division here. They have the same base. The base is 7 for both of these. So I can go ahead and write 7 and then subtract the exponents. Top exponent minus the bottom exponent. So I'll get 7 to the 6th. On number 2, I can do the same thing. They have a similar base of 16. So I do 16, and then the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. So I get 16 to the 3rd for my final answer there. Number 3, I'll leave to you guys. All right, then flipping over to the back. So we did the quotient of powers property with just numbers. Now we're going to do it with variables. So looking at number 1, the first thing you need to understand is that your base for this is y. Okay, not the 9, not the 15. The base is y, which means I can go ahead and simplify 9 over 15. Okay, so that'll just be simplification. Then I'll get b, and then I'll subtract the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. So simplifying 9 over 15, I get 3 over 5. And then I have b to the 16th. I put that on the top. So 3b to the 16th, or sorry, that's a y. It's y. 3y to the 16th over 5. Alright, We'll get into negative exponents in the next part, which will help explain why the y is on top. For number 2, we have a common base of x, so I just write x, and then I'm dividing, so I subtract the exponents. 15 minus 9, so I get x is 6. The next part here says using both properties, and the directions are just to simplify, which means to work it out as far as we can. But it says we're using both properties because if you notice on the top, we're going to multiply, and we have a fraction, so we're going to divide. So the first thing you want to do on the top is multiply our coefficients. So 6 times 7. They have the same base, h, so I can do h to the 11 plus 6. All of that's going to be over 28, h to the third. Okay. Multiplying the coefficients gives me 42. Adding the exponents gives me 17. That's over 28h to the third. Now I have division, so I can simplify 42 over 28, and I can subtract 17 minus 3. So 42 over 28 reduces to 3 over 2, and I have h to the 14th, which is up top. Again, in the next section, we'll work on that. So that's all the way worked out. I'll leave number 2 for you to figure out. On the bottom, there's just 4 practice problems. Okay, I'll do 2 examples, and I'll let you do 2 examples. So if you look at number 1, okay, I have one coefficient which can go out front, and then I have m's here, so I'm going to get m to the 4 plus 1. If I just have an m, that's an exponent of 1. And then I have n to the 7. That's the only n I have, so I just leave it how it is. So when I simplify that, I get 4m to the 5th, n to the 7th. I cannot put the m and the n together. I can't make that 12 because they don't have the same base. So I just stop right there. Number 2, I'll leave to you. Number 3, we have a fraction, so it's division. Okay, so I'm going to separate out 63 over 27 because I know I need to reduce that. Then I have m to the 5th minus 1. Okay, top exponent minus bottom exponent. And then n to the 6th minus 1. Again, both of these on the bottom have exponents as well. 63 over 27 is going to reduce to 7 over 3. And then my variables on the top, so m to the 4th, n to the 5th. And I'm all done there. Right? 4, I'll leave these out. So 3 and 4 are up to you. Alright guys, make sure you fill out everything that I didn't fill out and grade it with the answer key when you come to class.